It's full-blown demonic possession. So she was like, I'm going to teach you guys how to channel, and I'm going to let the spirit speak through me. And then you would literally watch her eyes change.
Basically, your phones, your TVs, your computers, your laptops, everything that's got a screen like that is a black mirror.
People today who call themselves white witches, or who do no harm magic or only benevolent magic, are not actually doing what white witches or benevolent witches historically used to do.
This is why you need to always bless
military type hierarchy. People talk about, the shadow people.
Mm-hmm.
I actually love the symbolism of Ozzy Osbourne touching Youngblood's third eye with his finger covered in his own blood and DNA.
He was hearing voices in his head. A man named Brennan, who's diagnosed with schizophrenia, decided to record himself having an episode and tell viewers what the voices he hears are telling him.
If you ever hear the word biopsy, I want you to run immediately.
Welcome back to The Wizard's Fish. First off, I need to say that YouTube just recently sent out a message saying that, it's basically regarding reaction channels needing to add substantial transformative input on videos. So, unfortunately, it's going to have to require me talking a bit more, I guess. I'll try and keep it to a minimum just because I'm not really particularly fond of blabbing on for extended periods either. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. And also my last video, I had to remove over 8 minutes of it. Long story short, ever since I uploaded that video, things have not been going well. I don't know, I don't believe in coincidences, but despite that video having good numbers, it doesn't really seem to be going out as good as it should be compared to my videos prior to that. Also, I've noticed a lot of you saying there's no hype button on it, which doesn't surprise me. But then, this notification came along from YouTube with the whole reaction channel thing and just a bunch of other stuff. I'm not going to get into it and drag it on, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a heads up. I apologize for the bits of talking that I'm going to have to do from now on. But anyways, we will get right into it. Viewer discretion is advised, and everything that you see in here will be for entertainment purposes only. Let's get into it.
People today who call themselves white witches, or who do no harm magic or only benevolent magic, are not actually doing what white witches or benevolent witches historically used to do. Today I'm going to say white magic and black magic just for understanding in the context of the book I'm about to read. In Eric Maple's 1973 Book of Witchcraft, he says there is no fundamental difference between black and white magic, both being expressions of the curious power-seeking impulse in the personality of man. Superficially, however, there is a clear distinction, for black magic is antisocial and inspired by malice, and uses evil spirits to achieve its ends, whereas white magic is helpful and draws upon the powers of kindly spirits. It is obvious that no witch will ever be prepared to admit that his or her magic is of the black variety. TikTok wasn't around then. All are insistent that their arts are directed towards the well-being of mankind. Nevertheless, society as a whole tends to regard the witch's activities with a jaundiced eye, while the clergy condemns both the practice and its practitioners as pernicious and damnable. Now, this is where the modern love and light white witches have gone wrong. Central to the practice of white witchcraft was a highly complicated style of sorcery known as the reversal spell, which entailed turning an evil spell against its sender and with interest. In one such, the reverse candle spell, the white witch neutralized the black witch's venom by lighting a black candle and chanting, "Let this candle be her candle, let this burning be her burning, this curse her curse." A white witch and black witch, in the way Eric Maple is talking about it, does not apply to any racial identities or modern applications that we put to those words and phrases. Is an identification of the witches' ethics and their moral stance in magic. White witches were the counter witches. They're the ones you went to when you had problems with your livestock or problems with the weather or problems with another person.
Should be going to Jesus because all witchcraft is bad. It's all going to lead to the same place regardless.
Entirely in opposition to malefic magic, but not without some bite. Because a reversal with interest is not necessarily benevolent magic. It's justice magic. Nobody's freaking out about harm to none here. It's basically just like you send something, you get it returned back. With interest. The reason now people who identify as benevolent witches or white witches say they do no harm and they don't do baneful reversals is it's mostly because of Wicca. The Wiccan read, do harm to none. That's when it stopped being counter magic and justice magic, and that's when it became like no baneful magic, no harm to anyone ever. That's why people who identify today as white witches or benevolent witches don't do the very thing that historically made them white witches. That's why I'm not a fan of this binary thinking. I'm a good witch, I'm a bad witch, I'm a white witch, I do black magic, because it's always in the gray. If you want to be a successful witch, stay in the gray. And I would love to show you the pictures on this page, but there's naked people. There's the naked people. And this lady here just getting some sun.
You can imagine how excited Pythagoras was when he shared his findings with his pals, a fraternity of eggheads, known as the Pythagoreans. They used to meet in secret to discuss their mathematical discoveries. Only members were allowed to attend. They had a secret emblem, the pentagram.
Like the Masons. Different symbol, but meeting in secret and
Let's
whatnot.
see what the topic is for today.
They love teaching it to kids.
It was our old friend Pythagoras who discovered that the pentagram was full of mathemagic. The two shorter lines combined exactly equal the third. And this line shows the magic proportions of the famous golden section. The second and third lines exactly equal the fourth. Once again, we have the golden section. But this is only the beginning. Hidden within the pentagram is a secret for creating a golden rectangle, which the Greeks admired for its beautiful proportions and magic qualities. The star contains the golden rectangle many times over.
I actually remember seeing this when I was a kid.
It's a most remarkable shape. It can mathematically reproduce itself indefinitely. All these rectangles have exactly the same proportions. This figure also contains a magic spiral that repeats the proportions of the golden section into infinity.
This is Lucifer's sigil. Now, this is what doctors thought the pineal gland looked like.
Also, if you take that symbol and you remove the bottom section with the curls there and just cap it off at like a triangle and turn it on its side, it's the Google Play button or the Play Store button, whatever it is there. Probably just a
Super
coincidence.
interesting that the light bearer could also give us the ability to see.
It's full-blown demonic possession. So she was like, I'm going to teach you guys how to channel, and I'm going to let the spirit speak through me. And then you would literally watch her eyes change. You literally would watch her eyes change. She wore glasses. She was like an older lady. And then her, like, I don't even want, she would just like, and then it would come in and speak through her. Like it was straight up demonic possession. And then we would do this meditation. This is actually such a crazy story. I don't think about this often. So I feel like the Lord's bringing it up for a reason. I'm in this class. I'm obviously like neck deep in this type of work, but there was always a little bit of fear. There was always this tiny little like bit of knowing, like, I feel like this isn't right. You know what I mean? Just like, I know you talk a lot about like pornography and stuff like that. It's like you do this and like maybe it feels good in the moment, but there's a part of you that's like, I feel like this isn't right. I feel like this isn't good. Like if you're getting drunk, if you're doing drugs, you're like, something's not right. And so I felt that in this room at that time. And this woman is like letting this demon speak through her. And then she's like, now we're going to do this meditation. We do this meditation. And she's like, if you guys hear something, let the spirit speak through you. This girl speaks. She says something that was honestly like so like new agey. I was like, the universe says this. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I could make that up, you know.
That's kind of like Beyonce with her alter ego, Sasha Fierce. And I don't know, it seems like a lot of these celebrities all have alter egos and like they all admit to channeling spirits. Denzel Washington, like all of them.
That's like a bumper sticker. But whatever, demons say dumb things too. And so the next girl says something, and then the next girl says something, and then it's my turn. And the whole time I could see in my mind, because I see the Lord reveals to me still to this day, like demons like behind people or that people are dealing with, but I'll see it in my mind. It's not like I see like a bird sitting on your shoulder. It's like I could sense it's there. You know what I'm saying? Like see it in your mind's eye. And so I'm sitting there and I see this man, and he looks kind of like a Native American, and he has red paint on his face and red feathers and a staff, and he's yelling at me. He's literally a demon, and I could see a pack behind him. So like 8 or 10 behind him, because demons, whenever they enter into you, it's not one at a time. They come in groups, they come in packs. And so when you open the door up to any type of sin, just know it's not letting one thing in, you're letting in multiple things. And so in that moment, I could see this man, and he's like, let me speak, let me speak. And I had dealt with spirits before, but they were not this aggressive.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck? I'm not going to let this thing speak. He's like, let me speak, let me speak. And I was like, no, I'm not going to let him speak. I don't want to. And I started to feel like nervous. And the teacher that's leading the class looks at me and she says, do you have anything? And I said, yes, but I don't want to let it speak. And she said, well, he asked me to tell you to let him speak. And he has red paint and he has feathers and a staff. Whoa. So she repeated what I just saw. And I said, no.
A lot of people have been asking about phone screens, TV screens, etc. being mirror portals. Basically, your phones, your TVs, your computers, your laptops, everything that's got a screen like that is a black mirror. One of these. Because when you look at it, off. What is this?
The black mirror.
It's the same for your computers, for your TV screens. They're black mirrors. They're scrying mirrors. And throughout history, scrying mirrors have been used to communicate with the spirit world. They allow us to talk to those who are on the other side of that, things and people that we can't see with our eyes. They're used for divination, scrying of different types. Some people use flames in front of them. But it being a mirror portal, just like a regular mirror or a regular black mirror, things can come through it. More often than not, that's going to be a lower vibrational entity that comes through it, but it can also allow through spirits of family members and loved ones.
Notice how like the thing behind her, it's like she's got red horns coming out of her head. Wonder if that was intentional.
Anything that can come through a different type of mirror portal can come through your phone screen. You can also lock them the same way that you lock other mirrors if you're okay with putting some oil on, say, the corner of your screen. Same goes for computers and TVs, or at night you can simply cover them so you don't have to worry about it while you're sleeping. But anything that's black like that and reflective is going to operate like a scrying mirror. Obsidian, black glass that has been painted black on the back. I can't remember what a phone screen is made of right now, to be perfectly honest, but it gives the same effect. And there are quartz crystal inside of computer screens, TV screens, and phone screens, so it's just powering it up. But that's the basic gist of your black screens as a mirror portal.
When you think about it, when you turn that black screen on, you're viewing images like you are right now on that screen. Therefore, it is like a portal. Like you are technically right now viewing a portal to my, I guess, studio room, I guess you could say. So yeah, like screens are 100% portals.
So what if I told you that mirrors don't only just reflect your face, they reflect your spirit? How do you feel about that? And how do you feel about mirrors? And if you haven't been here before, my name's Gail. I give lots of information to beginners on their witchcraft practice, although I don't usually talk in a mirror. So make sure you give me a follow, but definitely save this because this is an interesting fact and it's one you will definitely want to investigate further to understand what your belief system is around mirrors. So in many witchcraft practices, there are multiple beliefs that mirrors act as portals for spirit. They can let them in, they can let them out. So we like to lock and close and protect our mirrors. But if you've ever seen that film, The Skeleton Key, you will know that mirrors are also used to trap spirits as well in some other traditions. And some witchcraft practitioners use mirrors for scrying as well. So if you want to protect and lock your mirror from use, I would recommend keeping a key allocated for that specific task.
Don't do it.
I cleanse my mirror anti-clockwise 3 times because I love the power of 3. And then I will add sigils to each corner for protection. If you want any more information on that, please let me know in the comments. I keep this key specifically to lock my mirror. I have an incantation and then I physically and symbolically lock the mirror from letting anything in or out. So let me know, how do you feel about mirror magic? And is it something you do? Is it something now you're going to investigate? Let me know in the comments if you want more information. See you next time.
Hi. Okay, I'm going to teach you something that's literal magic. You do not have to take any psychedelics or anything for this to happen, but it feels like you're on it. You truly will feel like, let me just explain. It's called mirror gazing. Let me just do a disclaimer. Only do this if you're in a mentally okay spot. Okay, got that out of the way. Dim the lights in your room or whatever room you're in and find a mirror. Sit in front of that mirror and look into your eyes. And just like look into your own eyes in the mirror. I feel like I went cross-eyed there. And just kind of let your eyes glaze over. You don't need to like harshly stare. I don't even want to ruin it for you, but I'll just tell you what happened with me. After about 15 seconds, that is all it took, I started to like dissociate from myself almost. And it felt like I was staring at myself, but like I wasn't my body. I was the soul staring at myself. And then, I'm not joking, guys. My face started to shapeshift. And I'm not crazy. I'm telling you, try this yourself.
I've done this before, sober and not sober. And even sober, it's too creepy. I wouldn't suggest it. I'm pretty certain that allows like demonic entities access to you. And it's not cool. Don't do it.
We'll see. I do not know why no one knows about this. My face, just personally, my face shapeshifted the first time I did this, into a cat, and then into myself as a very old woman. And then I started to see some kind of scary things, but that actually can happen. Don't try, if you see something that scares you, don't try to label it. Just be open to it and know that you are safe and everything is fine. I did this also with a very pure heart. I wasn't trying to like mess around. I was just trying to see myself. And I feel like I saw myself in other lives and other dimensions and as an animal. It was very like ancestral.
You're asking for problems if you do it. Don't do it.
But anyway, it was really cool. I was a little bit creeped out, but let me know if you mirror gaze and how it goes.
I know there's a lot of people that don't know this, but they're on every goddamn house. And it's really, really funny because they don't know the meaning behind it whatsoever. There's this house that lives, about 9 blocks from me and has this all around the house. So I have to wonder, is this person pagan? Because, what this person has around the house on the outside is paganism. If you are not a pagan and you did not know it is pagan that you're supporting, I would take it down if I were you, because us pagans thinks you are a pagan, not a Christian. Those barn door stars are actually the barn stars. Yeah, everybody like think it's has to do with the stars and stripes of the flag, the stars in the heavens. Oh my. No, here's the truth. Okay, so neo-pagan have adopted barn star as part of their religious practice. When I mean adopted, it was pagans first. Then neo-pagans had taken over. And there's so many paths of paganism. Like I'm collective pagan, there's a neo-pagan. There's so many paganisms out there. But it's under one of the witchcraft era. It's all witchcraft, but it's just many paths. And neo-pagan had adopted it into their practice, believing their symbols and their meaning to be ancient. Other meanings. Barn star have also associated with warning off evil spirits, bringing good luck, bringing a plentiful harvest, symbolizing fertility, unity, symbolizing strength. Now, so you know, this ones with a circle around the star is extra protection. So, thank you for representing the pagan and neo-pagans. All those that have these barn stars on your houses and your barns. You're awesome.
Yeah, 100% stars on the front of the barn or the front of the house is 100% pagan. Actually, I have a really, really good story involving a neighborhood with like thousands of houses, and literally all of these houses all had stars. Man, they all had stars. It wasn't just a coincidence. If you guys want to hear the story, drop story in the comments. I'll drop the story at the end of my next episode because it's kind of long to explain it with like context so you guys will understand it. But yeah, it's like a 10 to 15 minute story. So yeah, drop story in the comments, and I'll let that go on the end of the next episode for you if you want. Brutal. That's crazy looking. I don't like the wind. And that's like oddly calm. Any of you guys live in a place that frequently has tornadoes? I wouldn't be able to do it. I would not be able to do it. It's bad enough where I live with the cold. That would actually be pretty funny. That is really funny. Oh, I hope this music doesn't get copyright, because it'll be perfect. One of the best uses for AI.
There's a kind of military type hierarchy. People talk about, the shadow people.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people see, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but kind of like out of the corner of your eye.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, imagine those things that you've seen, so you know what I'm talking about. But imagine a room full of them that don't go away whenever you look away, that you can see. Like poltergeist activity, like broad, with the light on, everything, broad day, it sounds like a man's running across your ceiling. That was her room. I mean, she was surrounded by demons.
I had woken up out of a deep sleep, out of nowhere. My eyes just kind of flashed wide open.
really for no reason. And I'm just kind of laying there, just wondering why the hell I just woke up. And sort of towards the foot of my bed, off to the side, just a little bit. As I'm looking, I'm thinking to myself and realizing, is that a shadow person? And as I'm thinking this to myself, it's like the shadow figure could read my mind. Like it was reading my mind, and it decided to answer me by sort of leaning in and over me, or sort of, in a way I felt like it lunged at me because it moved very, very fast, and it moved towards me.
They move so fast. If you could imagine how fast you could move if your body didn't weigh literally anything at all, like no resistance or anything, just like a lightning bolt. They're insanely fast.
I don't know how to explain how I knew that it was leaning towards me. I just knew. I could just tell. It's like this black mass got closer. So obviously that scared the shit out of me. That's probably one of the scariest paranormal experiences I've ever had in my life. It's truly terrifying. So I'm really curious who else has experienced a shadow figure. I would love to get a bunch of stories rounded up for a podcast episode. So if you've experienced this, consider sharing your story with me at unlockingtheparanormalpod@gmail.com. Or if you want to verbally share your story, you can call the hotline. I don't remember the phone number. You can go find it on a previous post on my TikTok or Instagram. You can find it there. Call it, leave a voicemail, and share your story with me. I'd love to hear you guys' stories.
If you've ever seen a shadow person out of the corner of your eye, listen carefully. I've spent my entire life studying and working with the paranormal, and here's something that most people misunderstand. Shadow people don't always appear because there's a spirit standing there. Many times they appear because your perception interacts with the subtle energy around you. Your emotional state and awareness can actually shape what you see. Tomorrow, I'm going to explain the rule that determines whether shadow figures approach you or disappear. Follow if you want to understand how the spirit world actually works.
I actually love the symbolism of Ozzy Osbourne touching young blood's third eye with his finger covered in his own blood and DNA. Your third eye chakra is a portal to your soul, a portal to your astral body. And by Ozzy Osbourne putting his own DNA on top of Youngblood's third eye chakra, it's almost like he's transferring his essence into Youngblood. And
It's making me think that maybe they're doing like one of those soul swapping or body swapping ritual things like right in front of everybody. It's a good possibility.
channeling himself through him. This way, Ozzy Osbourne always has a piece of his soul in Youngblood. It is a very loving and powerful gesture filled with trust that somebody can give somebody else.
Have you ever seen a shadow
Gross.
person? Let's talk about it. So this is something that would happen to me as a young girl. I would get into bed, all the lights would go off, and then all of a sudden I would start to see images of shadow people walking into my bedroom. It would look like this. Sometimes even this.
Hatman.
So what are we experiencing actually when we see this? So very often, if you've had this experience as a child, you are very clairvoyant. You have the ability to clearly see into the spirit world. Very often, sometimes we were seeing low vibratory entities when we were experiencing that. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had this experience before, but I hope this helps. Love y'all.
If you ever hear the word biopsy, I want you to run immediately. You need to see this video to understand why.
A biopsy is not a good idea. You see, when you're overflowed with toxicity, your body is going to try and protect you by taking that toxicity and concentrating it into one area, and it forms like a little cocoon. Sometimes this is called a nodule, a cyst, or a tumor. Now, when the medical monopoly goes fishing, and they do this all the time to make money, and they find your cocoon, they're going to do a biopsy, which is going to potentially spread it So let's say you have a tumor on your kidney. They go in, they do the biopsy, they come back, they say, hey, it's a sea monster, we need to do treatment. Okay, they do the treatment, and a few months later they run another scan, and they say, oh, your kidney's good, but now you have a tumor on your adrenals. Well, where do you think it came from?
Okay, now I myself can kind of back this up in my own personal experience. So I had the sea monster twice. And so I had symptoms for a few years before I actually got diagnosed. I didn't realize what it was, but once I had about half of a tennis ball sticking out of the side of my neck here one morning, it just seemed to pop up randomly overnight. I waited like 4 months before I went to get it looked at. I went to get it looked at. They did a biopsy, which was terrifying because after they did the biopsy, I was talking to the doctor, who was super cool. He was like into punk rock, and he was like my age, so I thought it was super awesome. And we listened to a lot of the same bands. But anyways, in the middle of me responding to his question, all of a sudden he got this panicked look on his face, and he like put his hand on my chest. He's like, don't talk, don't move, just lay down. He's like, you got some internal bleeding. Your neck's starting to fill up with blood. I was like, oh my God. But anyways, that's not the point of my story. So anyways, I had a biopsy done in my neck here. I had a 10.5 centimeter long by 6.5 centimeter wide mass in my chest going under my collarbone up into my neck. And anyways, they did the biopsy in my neck here and took a sample. And then I did my like first round of treatments, which was like about a year. I did radiation and chemo. And then it was only maybe like 4 months after I finished that. They're like, you should be excited, like you're done. And I was like, no, like something doesn't feel right. And then I started getting this weird sensation on the opposite side of my chest. And then I ended up going back to the doctor, and they're like, all right, we're going to send you for like your x-rays and scans and whatever, just to like see how you're doing. Cause it was a couple months after. And I was telling the doctor about how I had this weird, like very faint sensation in my chest. So after the scans and stuff, I come back and the doctor's like, can you point out that area where you felt that sensation in your chest? And I was like, yeah. So I pointed out, and he's like, that's really strange. And I was like, what? And he's like, that's the exact area where the sea monster seems to have grown back in like a new location. And that's really strange how like you can actually sense where it is. And that kind of blew my mind. But yeah, like it's crazy how hearing this now and relating that to my own personal experience, how like it came back in a new location, that totally 100% makes sense to me.
The biopsy. Just because you don't know how the body works and you're listening to people who also don't know.
The world we are living in today is overrun with toxins, which is why our exposure is at an all-time high. If you want to know exactly what my family uses to keep our bodies free from toxins, leave the word detox below.
What if the bones in the catacombs aren't plague victims like the narrative wants us to believe, or the Tartarians like I theorized the other day, because it doesn't make sense that they were plague victims. Who the f*** is crawling down that hole to wait until all the flesh slopped off those bones for millions of skeletons? You know how long it would take to clean that when they were all buried in a pile like that?
Long
thrown
time.
down a hole unceremoniously? Have you ever been to a river when it's had a bunch of leaves at the bottom? You know how long that takes to decompose? Now imagine if that was bodies. Millions of bodies. Yeah, but what if the Tartarians knew the mud flood was coming, and whatever happened that knocked out all of their systems that seems to have also taken out the dragons and the giants and all of our old world technology and the ether and shit like that? What if they knew that was coming and they knew the top wasn't safe? Because there's periods of history where humans knew something was coming. Like the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, they filled it in with silt. There are monoliths, massive stone monoliths down there. It is more aligned to true north, more cardinally aligned to true north than the tallest pyramid in Giza. Sorry, my mind is going like a million miles a minute right now.
I have that problem.
it's better aligned, and they knew something was coming, and they filled it with silt to protect it. So what if the Tartarians knew something was coming, so they all went underground, because apparently there's tunnels everywhere.
Kind of like all our billionaires and stuff now that building all these underground bunkers over the last few years if they didn't already have them.
They went underground, they knew shit was coming, and the bones weren't from them, they were from the people that came to hurt them, that managed to take out all of their shit, but they also managed to take a bunch of them out in the meantime. And that's why they also were able to clean and organize and arrange all of these bones in like ritualistic ways, is because they were living down there with them. That was just their way of life. So as they were down there with them, they were able to take the time and process them and sit with them and do stuff with them. And because they couldn't have access to all of the etheric weapons and not weapons, but like technology on the surface with the domes and the spires and the cymatics and shit like that, they didn't have access to their resonators. So they built all of these ritualistic altars with the bones and used them for fucking piezoelectricity.
Also, I'm thinking now that what we know with the Epstein files and the jerky, I wonder if maybe they used them for nourishment while down there, and then when everything was good up on the surface again, they had them all stacked and whatnot down there neatly and just left them all there and then made up some bogus story.
They were conducting electricity with the bones. 212. Like, I genuinely don't believe any of this is a coincidence, and I can't stop thinking about it. Nobody would have crawled down there to take plague boil covered victims, wait till their skin stripped off, and then do stuff with them. Like, that never made sense to me. What if they knew it was coming? And they were preparing. And that 234. And that was their way of doing something about it. And they're still alive in the tunnels, under the star forts, under the cities, under the ruins, where we can't interact with them because they've closed off a bunch of the tunnels, a bunch of the openings have collapsed, a bunch has been hidden by the delete.
Sex is the most godlike experience you could have, and that is why it is so dangerous. You have sex, your electromagnetic field that is extended from your heart becomes conjoined biometrically with the other person's, creating a complete charge in a full circuit. That's why it feels so good. But it doesn't stop there. A biological phenomenon called microchimerism happens when you have sex. And it is when the other person's cells come into your body and your body does not fight their DNA. In fact, your body accepts it as its own, absorbs it, and their DNA becomes embedded into yours. Yes, these cells of your sexual partners can be found inside of your brain and your entire body. And what happens on the quantum field is called particle entanglement, which is when two particles got so intertwined with one another that regardless of the distance, they still have chemical communication. This is where you get the idea of twin telepathy. Those particles were joined in the womb, and so now even when they're separated, they can experience similar things. That same binding agent applies to you when you have sex. So when the Bible says that you become one flesh, it is not just saying that, it's saying you become one neurologically, biologically, chemically, and electromagnetically. You are bound to that individual. You are now one. This is why Paul says, do not have sex outside of God's design, for all other sin is committed outside the body, but sex in the wrong way is a sin committed to your own body. It literally changes your body makeup, your chemical reality, your biological blueprint.
He was hearing voices in his head. A man named Brennan, who's diagnosed with schizophrenia, decided to record himself having an episode and tell viewers what the voices he hears are telling him.
I decided to record me having an episode, which I'm currently having, and I am going to talk about what I'm experiencing. So, I am currently hearing voices, and they are telling me that there are communist spies out to get me. I've not checked the windows like I normally have because I'm trying to fight it and not like, okay, so there's one voice, it's a man telling me to turn off the recording software and stop recording. I'm kind of fading in and out of what's going on, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know. Let me explain more. 1 second, I'm just trying to cope and I'm talking to my parents about how I feel. And then the next second, I'm thinking they're communist spies. Oh God, that freaking... I heard a voice all of a sudden just yell, "I got you," and then it made me jump. Hello? Freaking... I just heard a voice on the phone. It told me myself. I know there's not any spies, but I have to look out the window. Like, it's hard. I have to. It's like I need to. Like, I know there's nobody out there, but I need to. So.
Through this 11-minute long video, Brandon tries to specify of the voices, telling him things like there are communist spies after him and that they're gonna get him, and even telling him to end it all. As of today, schizophrenia is not fully understood, and people who deal with it hear very specific voices saying very similar things. Thankfully, Brandon seems to be handling himself okay and uploads regularly on his YouTube account.
Why are we not talking about this? Take a look.
Everybody on Earth, including your dogs and cats, will always be exposed to and possibly contract any of the 4 major known causes of parasite infections. These are known as tapeworms. Those are the big ones you see being pulled out by the feet. And then you've got roundworms, which are the smaller ones you know from your dogs and cats, called heartworms. And
That sucks because I got cats.
yes, human beings get heartworms from every dog and cat they own. In fact, parasitologists around the world say 100% of pet owners have parasites.
I refuse
These
to
are
believe
people
it.
that specialize in parasites. And then protozoa and flukes. And there are all natural cures found in plants around the world that cure all 4 of the major types of parasites, including protozoa and flukes. So yes, there are answers for all of them.
What are those cures?
Awesome. Well, let's reference first an incredible scientist out of Canada named Helda Clark. She has a book published, you can get it on Amazon, titled All Cures for Cancer. She cured in less than 5 days, Shemaine, 100 different patients' cancers by treating them with just 3 natural herbal products. One was red clover. The other is green walnut hull extract, and then sweet wormwood, which is actually an herb that has the exact same actions as ivermectin, which is a prescription medication. And
This is just entertainment. You should always seek medical advice from your doctor.
3 in combination to cure 100 different cancers in less than 3 months.
Oh my God, I went down this crazy rabbit hole the other day. Have you ever heard of this dude named Phil Schneider?
That sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
He is like one of the original whistleblowers, and I'm gonna lie, I think he was probably like one of the first people that I've seen that talked about adrenochrome.
Really?
Yes. This dude is pretty much saying the elites,
Yeah.
where they got that from, was from aliens.
Like the idea of doing that?
Yes. This guy pretty much says that he used to work for the government back in the day. Pretty much said that he had encounters with these aliens and that the government made this treaty with these other aliens.
Demons. They're not aliens. They're demons.
That pretty much like they will exchange information to us and we will give them people.
What?
Yes. And the reason why he said that these aliens, they would get the adrenochrome from us and use it like a drug.
So they were getting basically high off of us.
High off of us. Yes. This dude literally said it's like cocaine to them. And then this guy said that he was with a Green Beret and they were going through these tunnels underground.
Yeah.
And that there were these aliens down there. And he said that they were almost having like a war down there. They got into this firefight. He said he killed like 1 or 2 of them. And he said that one of them hit him with this like blue beam. And he said like it left this huge scar on my chest. This guy has like no fingers left because he said he got hit with this beam and like his toes are all messed up and everything. The Green Beret guy helped him get out of there.
Yeah.
And then did tours and was doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
A year later, they find him at his apartment with strangle marks around his throat. He said that pretty much the treaty that they made with these aliens, that it ends around 2029.
The alien agenda is the complete takeover of this planet, the killing off of 5, 6 to 7/8 of the world's population by the year 2029. U.S. military has known about this for 45 years.
The sign that says no hammocks. We've got a whole. Where's the no hammock sign? We got a whole list of things. No. I can see you. You can't see me. If you don't come on that. I'm not here. The police. No. What? No. Oh my God. No. Oh my God. You can't stop me.
Oh my God.
I won't be stopped. I said I won't be stopped. You see that?
Oh my God.
When I was driving bus, I never had anybody in hammocks, but I got a lot of crazy bus stories.
We did not inject GP1, PP14 developed by my people, the Israelis at MIT with HIV in it, right? No. That's exactly what it is. This is a genocide by the Israelis. They're getting rid of all you Americans. You're all part of the land of Edom. They consider Donald Trump their Mashiach. I don't know if you know this. Do you know that they gave Donald Trump the silver crown of the Torah recently, which is to be put on the head of the Messiah? Do you know this? Who's that? 163 Orthodox rabbis. Oh, wow. Came together at Trump's golf course and handed him the silver crown. Do you know any of that? Nope. They gave him a menorah about 2 weeks ago, and on the bottom the inscription says the Prince of Peace, an utterance out of the prophet Isaiah for the Mashiach, the Messiah. Do you know that happened?
He's got that award in like his office behind his desk up on the wall there. He pointed it out doing like I don't know, some sort of tour, I don't know, something.
So you guys have no idea that they, in Israel, the Knesset, and in the Sanhedrin have proclaimed Donald Trump the Messiah. Okay. You know none of this. They gave Trump the silver crown of the Torah. Got that? That's the silver crown of Jerusalem. This is to be given to the Messiah and the Messiah only. Wait, let me see it again. And 163 Orthodox Jewish rabbis gave Donald Trump the silver crown of the Torah. I worked 4 years on Trump's campaign team. These guys are, this is the inscription, which you can't read, but you can read it here. They're calling him the Prince of Peace. This is an utterance out of the prophet Isaiah. Donald Trump is considered the Mashiach of Israel, the Messiah, according to these rabbis who run your country. The whole COVID agenda was done by Zionist Jews. And they want all you people dead here in the land of Edom. They consider Donald Trump the head of Edom.
Orange juice.
They're going to kill you people off with this injection. You're considered Amalek, and they want all you people dead. My Instagram is Trump_played_you. Trump played you. My son's dying from this shot that Donald Trump brought out through a military operation, Warp Speed, March 27, 2020, approved by the DOD.
That's sad.
Warn your fellow Americans. This whole thing, by this COVID agenda, is all dual citizenship Zionist Jews. I used to be a hardcore Zionist. They want all you people dead, and Trump is their Messiah. Make no mistake of it. He will return. Can I see the back of your shirt? All right. Go Trump! Go Trump! Yeah, Trump's gonna kill all you people.
When I say Lucifer was an attorney, he was the chief prosecutor on God's heavenly council. He knows the word of God better than you ever will. That's exactly how he gets you. That's exactly how he traps you to come into agreement with him. In order for him to torment you in any way, whether it be with fear, anxiety, depression, he first needs you to sign a legal binding contract. And you don't sign it physically with pen and paper. You sign it with your words. See, when Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, he didn't pray to God, please let this temptation stop. He declared truth. He said, it is written. He knew his heavenly rights, and because of that, Satan had no ground to prosecute. So do you know your heavenly rights? Let's go over some. It is written that God has not given you the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. No weapon that the enemy forms against you shall prosper. All evil that the enemy tries to take you down with, God will turn and use for your good. God will never leave you or forsake you. Even the smallest amount of faith you can use to move the biggest mountain. You already are forgiven. You already are healed. You already are sanctified. You are more than a conqueror through Christ. You are a child, the image bearer of the living God. Through God, nothing will be impossible for you. For when you are weak, he makes you strong, and you can do all things through him who gives you strength. You have access at all times to the Holy Spirit, who is the source of love, peace, joy, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control. There is no temptation God will allow you to face that you cannot overcome. See, you need to understand that your thoughts are not all your own. You are influenced, you receive thoughts from your environment, physically and spiritually. That's why you are to hold every thought captive, so that you do not accidentally come into alignment with something that is not written. So I'm giving you a challenge. For the next 24 hours, pay attention to every thought that goes through your mind. I know it's going to be a lot, but start to ask yourself, what am I coming into alignment with? What am I coming into agreement with? And is it written? Is it truth? Or is it my own thoughts and feelings? Because it is written that we are not to lean unto our own understanding, because our hearts are deceitful above all things.
Something that I really wish more people understood is that your beliefs, your belief systems, quite literally shape your entire perception of reality. And I'm not talking about this in like a woo-woo kind of way. I mean, on a neuroscientific level. All of your sensory input, everything that you see, hear, smell, touch, is being relayed and backtracked against your pre-existing beliefs. That is how your brain comes up with an interpretation of the events around you, which, as we've discussed in other videos, is why two people from different belief systems can look at the exact same piece of information and come to completely different conclusions. And why both of them are simultaneously right and wrong, because they're projecting their own belief system onto the event itself through their interpretation. That's also why I talk so much about questioning your belief systems on here and in my program, whether that be beliefs about yourself, beliefs about others, beliefs about the world around you, because all of those beliefs are actively shaping your experience of life. There's this quote that comes to mind when I say this, and it's, you do not suffer because of the thing, you suffer because of the way that you see the thing. And when you shift your perception from one in which you're constantly asking, why is this happening to me, to one in which you're asking, what can I learn from this experience? Your experience of life will shift dramatically. Not only because you are interpreting the event in a more positive light, one that allows you to grow, to learn, and to form new neural pathways, but also because it puts you in a position of agency for change. Meaning you can take the lessons that you learned from that experience and actually practically use them moving forward. But truth be told, a lot of that makes sense logically. Like, you can understand it, it makes sense, but when it comes to practically applying it, that's where things get a lot trickier. And this dissonance between having the intellectual understanding and the practical ability to apply it every day is exactly what Insight Embodied is designed to bridge. So if you're sick of hearing the advice and you actually want to start living it, but you also think about things very deeply and need to have an intellectual understanding of it in order to make that change first, then go check it out. The link is in my bio. I hope to see you there. I love you. Bye.
You guys ever heard the simulation theory? Right, so I'm going to prove to you exactly why we are stuck in a simulation, but how I'm about to paint this picture for you is in a way that nobody has told you before. If you don't know me, I probably don't know you either. I'm Sela. Something I'm passionate about is cracking you like a fucking egg, helping you unlock your potential by expanding on your beliefs, shifting your perspectives, and ultimately using a larger percentage of your brain. Hear me out. Modern day spiritual supremacists talk about timeline jumping, quantum leaping, manifestation, like we're all casually navigating dimensions. And unless you're Matthew McConaughey taking a deep dive in a black hole in the movie Interstellar, shit's not gonna make sense, bro. Our new age spiritual guru friends and manifestation coaches are so good at telling you exactly why you're not manifesting your dream life, and so bad at telling you how to do it. So I'm gonna take it from here, because I want to give you something that's actually fucking useful. I know I don't look like Bob Ross, but I want to paint this picture for you with my mouth. I want you to close your eyes. You don't have to close your eyes. If you want to look at me, that's fine. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, I drop you into a video game level. And before I drop you in there, I tell you there are only 20 possible outcomes coded into this level. You wouldn't expect outcome number 21 to just appear out of nowhere, right? So why do you expect your life circumstances to operate any different? You expect those things to change and you're still playing that level. Imagine you've been stuck on the same video game level for a long time and you don't even realize it. You got the same types of people, same patterns, same endings. What's funny is you think you're exploring life, seeing reality play out as it's meant to, but really you're just triggering different versions of the same outcome. So picture this, that level you're in, it's like a little island covered by a dome. Everything you experience, every person, every dynamic, every belief exists inside of that dome. This is what nobody's telling you. Inside of that dome, The current level you are in contains a limited set of possibilities. Not infinite, preset. There are only certain types of people in there, certain ways things can play out, and certain versions of you that can exist there. Let me give you a good example. Let's say in this current level that you're in, under this dome, relationships feel confusing. You experience a lot of anxiety over and over again. Emotionally unavailable people seem to keep crossing your path. You keep finding new romantic interests who seem to love bomb you and then pull away shortly after conveying a strong inability to communicate and reciprocate effort. So when it comes to manifestation techniques, right? We're over here thinking we have to attract something different. You don't just find better people. You don't just find better things. Because inside of that dome, those people don't exist. Only variations of what you've already experienced do. Different faces, same patterns. Different situations, same endings. And that's why you feel like you keep looping. Because you are. You're basically exhausting every possible outcome inside that same level. Everyone wants to tell you, change your thoughts, change your reality. Think bigger, manifest your dream life. Okay? Cool, we get it. But that's vague as hell. Here's what it actually means. Your thoughts are just conclusions that you've practiced so many times, they feel like facts. For example, people always pull away from me. Everyone I meet has a lot of growing up to do. I love too hard. Everyone thinks I'm too much. The people I choose never choose me equally. It's just how life goes for me. Honey, B. That's not the truth. That is the infrastructure of the dome that you're in. The second you sit back and go, wait, I don't think that's actually true. Hold up. I don't think I want to experience the bare minimum anymore. I think I'm accepting less than I deserve, and that's not self-respect. It's self-sabotage. That's when you crack the motherfucking dome. You don't escape the level that you're on overnight, but the shift starts shifting. You're gonna respond differently. You'll tolerate less of the same shit. You'll choose things differently. And what's wildly fascinating, you'll start seeing new doors open for you. You'll start meeting people who are completely unfamiliar, but in a good way. It's gonna feel like, wait, I've never experienced this before. Holy shit. Probably because it's actually good for you, right? You'll be like, wait, you've never experienced this before. Because you haven't. They literally could not exist in the last dome. A lot of people will seem to just disappear. And not dramatically, but it's like they just kind of stop being a part of your life. This is because they belonged to the old dome. Once you transport yourself to a new dome, you don't exist there. You feel me? You'll also feel like a completely different person. Not because you forced it, because this version of you only exists on this level. This is a timeline shift. You're not attracting better. You're not chasing something different. You're just walking out of a limited set of possibilities. Once you see it like this, you'll stop asking, why does this keep happening to me? And instead you'll say, what level am I on? And what do I have to believe to change it?
So they told you nanotechnology cannot be removed from the human vessel. But you just aligned with me.
That the nanotech is totally destroyed by the nicotine mixture. Dr. Brian Ardis stated that nicotine was the very thing that could destroy nanotechnology. Rafa has confirmed exactly that.
So I noticed the year leading up to 2020 when we had that whole ordeal. I noticed it was about a year or so beforehand. I noted like the government and the population control and all that stuff. So I was kind of shocked when I saw how much the Canadian government was putting out on ads and assistance to help people quit smoking. And I even pointed it out to a few of my friends at the time. And I was like, it's kind of strange how the government all of a sudden, like they want to take people out, but now all of a sudden they want people to quit smoking. I was like, there's got to be something up with that. And then during the whole 2020 thing there, I noticed that a lot of people, including myself, who smoke cigarettes weren't getting sick. And I just found that kind of strange. But then after thinking about it, like if it's a lung issue, then smoking cigarettes, you have like the tar in your lungs, whatever. So it could be like a protective barrier. But I don't know. This makes a lot of sense to me.
Please share this video everywhere.
That goes pretty hard.
For this. The States. I printed it off. I'll even give you the link. As a matter of fact, let me give you the link right now. www.supremecort.gov/opinions/12PDF/12-398 space underscore 1B7D period PDF. Let me read this to you in case you don't understand what the hell's going on with this stupid ass shot. In the U.S., the Supreme Court has ruled that vaccinated people worldwide are products, patented goods, according to U.S. law, no longer human. Through a modified DNA or RNA vaccination, the mRNA vaccination, the person ceases to be human and becomes the owner of the holder of the modified gen vaccination patent, because they have their own genome and are no longer human without natural people in parentheses, but transhuman. So a category that does not exist in human rights. Did you hear that? A category that does not exist in human rights. The quality of a natural person and all related rights are lost. No rights, freedoms, and liberties, no religious exemptions, nothing, because you've been turned into a person, not a man or a woman. You think I've been joking? I've been telling you guys to wake the hell up. You haven't been waking up. Now it's kicking you in your teeth. This is why I put on these seminars, so you can understand exactly what you need to do to forcefully take back your rights, freedoms, and liberties. Now listen to this. This applies worldwide, and patents are subject to U.S. law since 2013. All people vaccinated with GM modified mRNAs are legally transhuman and legally identified as transhuman and do not enjoy any human or other rights of a state. State meaning any government, any state, even here in the United States. And this applies worldwide because GenPoint technology patents are under U.S. jurisdiction and law where they were registered, source of the decision of the U.S.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you go looking for this man or that PDF, the whole lot have disappeared. I've been on the .gov website and I can't find it anywhere, and I can't find him on TikTok anywhere. He's been banned from everywhere. But that's how they're doing it. They're changing our DNA to make us non-human. And if you are not a human, you have no right to breathe air or drink our water from the planet. This is a human master plan.
I'm all human.
This is why you need to always bless your food. This is crazy. This mom and her daughter did this experiment where they took rice from the same pot, put it into 2 identical dishes, covered them up, and then she separates them right here so that the blessing would only be on one of the dishes. The daughter said a quick prayer, I bless this food in the name of Jesus, and then they took it into this room, put them on the same shelf, and by the way, that is a return vent, so there's no air blowing out of that vent, but they left them both there for about 9 days. Now here's what's crazy. At the end of the 9 days, you can see that one is way more moldy than the other one. And they expected, and I expected, and probably all of you would expect that this one that's way more moldy is the one that is not blessed. But actually, that is the rice that was blessed. So they thought, well, that's really interesting. So they looked into it, what makes food go moldy, faster than another. And what they found is so amazing. They found that when food is organic, when it is more nutritious, that it will actually mold faster, have higher antioxidant levels, lower pesticide residues, and can contribute to a reduced risk of chronic diseases. So by blessing their food, it literally infused it with more organic matter and made it more nutritious. You know, the Bible actually says that when you worship the Lord, His blessing will be on your food and water, and He will remove disease from among you. What an incredible God.
What are you doing?
So weird looking.
You look like a little person. Hi, buddy.
All right, guys, if you made it all the way to the end, appreciate you very much, and I'll catch you again on the next one. Peace.